Hello, everybody. Welcome back to more Political Excess. Today, let's take a look at my updated map for my governor's predictions for the month of July. Now, there's not going to be many changes from last month because it is still a little bit early. I know we're getting into July now. It's not super early. A lot of primaries are done, but there's a lot ahead. It won't be until after Labor Day that things really get going. So I don't want to make too many changes unless there's overwhelming evidence. So let's get into this now. You might disagree with some of these, but the safe Democratic seats, these are over a 10-point margin. There's no debate here, really. California, then Colorado. I don't see Jared Polis being in much danger there. Illinois, that could get close, but for now, going to leave it at safe. And New York, same situation. Without further evidence, I'm going to leave it at safe. And Massachusetts, that'll be safe, and a flip and a pickup for the Democrats. And Rhode Island, I have that at safe. Incumbent Dan McKee might be in some trouble in the primary. Something could happen, but safe for the general. And finally, Hawaii, that will also be safe. Now on to the safe Republican states. Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska, the open seat there, Oklahoma, Texas. I still think Greg Abbott will win that, probably between 9 and 12 points. I'm keeping it at safe. Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, Ohio, that should be over 10 with Mike DeWine, and then, of course, Vermont and New Hampshire. Now, the likely Democratic states, these are over a 5-point margin, up to 10 points. Minnesota, that could go down to a lean. It even could go up to a safe. I still think I'm going to leave it at likely, pending further information. The Connecticut, that one could also get down to a lean. They've had some close governor's elections, and it's a rematch of the 2018 election there. For now, I'm going to keep it at likely. And finally, Maryland, that would be a pickup for the Democrats. There's a lot of time in that one to see what's going to happen, but it's not looking good for the Republicans. Now let's take a look at the likely Republican states. Alaska, that is an unusual state with ranked choice voting. However, given all that, Mike Dunleavy, I think he's still going to win by at least 5 points. And next up is Iowa. Kim Reynolds should win that by probably up to 10 points, I'd say. And the last likely state here would be Florida. Ron DeSantis, he looks pretty strong to win re-election, and probably by a little bit of a comfortable margin at this point. Now the lean Democratic states. First up is Oregon. This is the chance for Republicans to snap that streak and pick up the governor's mansion there. Not a lot of polls out. There is an independent candidate that's drawing some of the vote there, but Christine Drazan, the Republican, does have a real chance to flip that seat. But there's a lot of time left. Next is Nevada. This could go either way. I've seen polling that shows Joe Lombardo ahead. I'm going to give Steve Sisolak the benefit of the doubt for being the incumbent and say that he ends up holding on, but that's subject to change. Next is New Mexico. Now this is a rating change down from likely to lean. Mark Ronchetti, he does appear to be a strong candidate in a red environment, and he's polling pretty well. He does have a chance to win this. As of now, I'm going to keep it at a lean for the Democrats. Next, over to Michigan. I think we all know by now the chaos the Republicans had with the signatures and the ballot and their primary. We'll see who they end up nominating, but all this right now has done nothing but help incumbent Gretchen Whitmer. And finally, in Maine, that is a battle between Paul LePage and Janet Mills. It's going to be close, but I'm going to say Mills still is able to hold on at this point, but anything could happen, as Maine is another weird state similar to Alaska. And the lean Republican states. Arizona. This one could maybe go either way too. It's an open seat. They have not had their primary yet. It'll probably be Carrie Lake over Katie Hobbs. Whoever wins that, it's going to be close, but I'm going to give the edge to the Republicans. And the other lean Republican state is Georgia. I think Brian Kemp, he will end up pulling that out. I know I saw a Quinnipiac poll that showed it tied. I think that's going to be a temporary outlier, and in the end, Brian Kemp is going to win that by at least 2 to 3 points. And on to the tilt states. This is about a 1 point margin or so. There's none for the Democrats. And the remaining ones are for the Republicans. And there are three of them. First up, Kansas. Incumbent Laura Kelly, I think she will still go down, maybe by way over 1 or 2 points. But I still think she's positioning herself to be more of a moderate. And that probably has some appeal even in a red wave type of environment. Similarly in Wisconsin, I think Tony Evers probably will go down in the end. We'll have to see who the nominee is and get some more polls out later on in the summer. He could end up winning it, but I still think once everything is over, he will end up losing by a little bit. And finally, the last state, Pennsylvania. There's been a couple of polls out, and they're close, but Doug Mastriano is not ahead. However, I'm still considering everything. Once it's all over with, I'm going to say he ends up pulling it out. Everything is aligned against him, so it does have more of an underdog kind of a feel to it. Maybe he ends up losing by 6 points, but it's going to be very fascinating. And my feeling now is that he will end up pulling it out, given that it's an open seat and given the environment and given the uncertainty of his type of candidacy. So that's what I think. Let me know what you think. Which ones did I get right? Which ones did I get wrong? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.